Well, howdy there. This is Diana Chu here at Slowgaze. You have stumbled across one more Slowgazathon installment. We are going back-to-back everyday uploads until the 25th of December here. At least I am trying to. I might have to take a hiatus just to regroup because woo, it's getting a little dicey back here. If you could see my beauty room, I don't actually have a beauty room, and that's part of the dilemma. I think you'd take pity on me and understand kind of where I'm coming from. But today you're here not for me to rant, but for me to talk about this lovely little package, this French gray compendium of life. And it is by Salt New York. And I'm so excited to tell you about this, not because A, it's sponsored, it is not. Kjaer does not know that I exist. I have never really gotten into this brand before. I've watched maybe a few of her YouTube videos, but I went ahead and just bought this because I thought, heck, if this did not work out, I could at least have a really sophisticated and well-constructed makeup palette to put all of my loose shadows in, to consolidate my collection of eyeshadows in, and it felt like the right move. So I did buy this gorgeous compendium. That's what I'm calling it. It's one of those like wallets that you see, or like a Bridget Jones diary, that once you open it up, like the addresses of many suitors are littered in there. The latest receipt from Cartier and the latest like New York diner is in there. All of the schedulings and meetings and everything, like someone's life is in there, the checkbooks, you name it. And it just feels really old school in that way, very classic. This is the French Gray, the palette. She does have a black version. I think that is sold out. Who knows if or when it will get restocked. But I'm glad that I got the gray. I usually go for the black, but this feels like a lot more friendly for mid-tone makeup smudges and smears, that it won't get as dirty. I had a everyday makeup bag. I still have it, but it's filthy. It is all black, true Saffiano leather. This is vegan leather, but it still has that really nice embossed print that helps it be very durable and scratch resistant. It's also easy to clean and re-sanitize, so I really enjoy that. The matching of the trim and the zipper is really well done. I'm quite impressed by the construction of this, and yeah, the gold tone of the zipper feels really luxe, as is the embossing here, the gold foil. This zipper, see how buttery smooth that just opens up. It is not a loud zipper, it is not a hard zipper, and it just, I love it. I love this as like a concept. Now, when I think of Jones Road, and I have to bring that up just because I've been thinking about this, and I might talk about it in an anti-haul, but Jones Road is Bobbi Brown's, like the Bobbi Brown. Now that she's left her company, Bobbi Brown, she's gone on to launch, I think this year, something called Jones Road. White packaging, heavy, bold, sans serif font, Jones Road in black, and it feels kind of graphic and very of the moment. Her Wonder Balm, it comes in this like clinical tub, almost like a tub of cold cream or Vaseline or something. It's nondescript except for the cap, and you take off the cap and it just has balm like pressed in. And to me, it just feels like a patty wax or a Vaseline experience. Like it's very non-luxe. It feels like there's too much product in there. Like, yes, you're able to slather it on your face, but whose face is this meant for? It's almost bigger than your face. I think she put out something she thought would be well received because of the trends that exist today, because of the like that one product but 5 ways to use it ethos. It seems like she missed the mark in a truly thoughtful design way. And Kjaer comes with Salt New York to pick up that slack. To me, this is effortless makeup. It is so effortless. I can use my fingers. It doesn't come with like brushes or 10 different sizes of brushes. It doesn't come with an instruction manual on like where to put everything. With that comes freedom, with that comes empowerment and creativity. Yes, it can be a little bit intimidating just to receive a little pat of butter, basically, that's a different color than your skin in the mail, and then say, haha, do what you will with it. But I think that inspires creativity, and we want to figure out for our own and for our own some how to use those pigments, right? In the end, that's what it is. She's not peddling convenience. in the way that, oh, let me tell you exactly how to do it and it's going to do both of your brows in one move. She's saying this is convenient because you can find out how you want to use it. There is a little bit of upfront investment work, but once you do, you can just kind of play and dabble and it's not telling you things. So nothing against Jones Road. I haven't tried the products. I don't intend to right now. Just from afar, you see the products and they don't inspire a feeling of luxury. Whereas this tells me like, I am a person on the go. I'm a person who might have really dirty hands. I might have kids at home. I might have something where I don't want people to just like get into my makeup, right? It's zippered and it's compact. It can slide into a purse or a backpack really easily. And it has a mirror. So to me, it's really practical, and yet it's kind of magical because it's like, you don't know what it is. It could have money in here. It could have my entire trilogy book that I'm writing in notes on scraps of little paper in here. And yet I open it up and this is my minimalist makeup dream. It has this little grosgrain ribbon, this black ribbon, and let me hold this so it doesn't all tip out. Right here, this little tongue in the spine that doesn't allow it to flop completely open. So when I sit this on my lap or on a table, you see that it actually wants to sit up. Isn't that magical? It's so great. That one angle means that I can hold it in front of me and boom, she thought of everything. This mirror, you can't take it out, but it is a great size. And then the high lip of this, I think is actually brilliant because I can fit both a concealer pot and brushes in here and even a brow whiz. Let me show you, let's see, what else do I have? I'm gonna replace these two brow pigments just to see what this fits. Glossier Lid Star and Herb, this is the only color that I have left of those. I had all of them basically. It fits the Marc Jacobs liner. Ooh, and it even fits a Marc Jacobs little smudger brush. So it does fit quite a bit, even though the Glossier right now is coming up over that raised lip. So is this concealer. So let me show you. That actually closes really well. Didn't have to struggle against the zipper. It's not bulging at any one point. And I feel like it is really stable. It's not moving around too much. Love that this has the embossed on one side, so I know that's always the top. The back doesn't have anything, and so I always open it like this and nothing bad happens. So there you have it. I actually have all of the colors I will be putting on my face today. I'll show you everything in this palette as well as a few comparison swatches to things I have in front of me today. So let's dive in. I'm so excited to show you this. I've really enjoyed it. It's a newer purchase, so I'll see if I can do an update when I actually get her new colors in. I did buy quite a few new colors. I'll tell you which ones in the video. And so I expect this little collection to grow. But in the end, I want this to be my everyday like go-to makeup when I want to feel flawless and in control, but also want to feel finger painty. So let's dive in. Sticking this on my lap, it does stay open because of this nice little ribbon. It feels like it's at a perfect angle. It's slightly reclined. Right now I am talking to a camera, so I'm not going to have it exactly like I like it. Let's go in with a little bit of concealer. I don't want to do too much, but I certainly have blemishes that I can just recall. Muscle memory. I don't even have to look at myself to put a little bit of cover up on them. So that's the RMS Pot Concealer. It does fit in here. Even though it falls higher than the lip, as you can see, it still closes. And there is a little bit of dip, but you absolutely can't tell, and see how quickly that zipped up. So this is so far everything that lives in here. I do find it useful and easy to hold just by one side, and I can access the mirror this way. Okay, I think that's already quick and easy, really simple, and let's dive into this magic right here. When I think of minimalist makeup, I do not think of square pans in a magnetic base with a mirror, like a whole system. I usually think of something clean, a little fresh, something geared towards younger people, especially like the Morphe 2 release. Do you remember that? Where everything came out in a jelly pot, it was all pastel colored, and it was obviously featured on very young people, and yet this feels so sophisticated. So if we're talking about clean beauty, it's easy, but it's really performing, I do think of Kjaer, Weis, RMS, Westman Atelier, Victoria Beckham. So I think Kiki G already nailed it by sitting in this realm. So if I compare it to just those few, I'm sure I'm missing more. Those are the brands that I'm most familiar with, not only usable with her own makeup line, which is these 4 Cream Tint Pros. They're all called Cream Tint Pro. It's just a matter of what shade and type you're using, if you know what I mean. So this is like the contour, this is the bronzer, this is the lip and cheek, and then this is the Radiance. So those 4 are all under the same formulation style. I doubt they're all the same formula, but I think they all have the same base, the same concept. They're all watercolory. They're all meant to be used either with a sponge or with your fingers, and they're all the same size. So I love that. I think they're also the same price. So in that way, it's a very flat hierarchy. You can just dive into whatever pigment you want. They really are conceived of as transitional pigments instead of like, this is a bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury and then this is a blush and it's a totally different packaging, and then the highlighter is in yet another wand or whatever. It's really special, I think, to think of it as just truly pigments. That to me means it's like an artistry palette. It is a lot less about the brand. You can't see anything in the way that like she conceived of it. It's all about you choosing the colors you want that work for you, that you want to play with, and then even rejigging it in the pan in the way that you want. If you flip it over, you can see that they are labeled, so you'll never forget. Though I love, love, love that she named all of them, especially when you look at these colors that are for the lip and cheek. She named all of them in a very deductive way. So if I look at this next to rose or raspberry or cranberry, see, I can even draw them up in my mind. It's because I look at this and I'm like, oh, that's the closest to peach. And she wanted that to be a specific thing, to be able to look at a color and call it by its name. You can call me by your name if you want. Thank you for not adding layers and layers of marketing. It's really about how we are using it and not how she's conceiving of it. Now, I actually didn't look up her pronouns, so I apologize to Kiki if she indeed does have or use or prefer different pronouns, but I will continue using she in the most respectful way. I love these 4 colors. I only have these 4, but I did buy 5 more. Oh geez, I really got sucked in to these. It's because of this shade here. And then I was like, oh boy, this is really, really, really good. Then I moved into this shade and I was like, oh, that's even better. And then I found out that these 2 make my perfect blush. So dang, she's good. I really picked these out because of, you know, how she had it on her website, Salt New York. It's not Salt NYC, as I had been mentioning in a couple of my other videos. I ended up watching one of her videos that I don't think it was exclusively about her launch, but she talked about the brand and the brand name and why she exudes and encapsulates both masculine and feminine energy. I like to think that I do too, that my androgyny is not only on the way that I look, but deep into my core. Like even from a young age, felt 50-50 split. And I never felt uncomfortable in my body. I don't consider myself anything but a cisgender heterosexual woman, but I really, really, really respect and understand when Kiki was talking about her masculine and feminine energy and how she named Salt New York to embody both of those, as well as both of those places that she calls home. There was Santa Barbara and New York, and Santa Barbara she tried to encapsulate with the word salt, with all the sunny, sandy beaches, the ocean smells, and then she went to talk about how salt, a flavor enhancer, and it's not about a one single flavor or one thing that she's peddling, how it can enhance the user. So I love that ethos. I thought she had a really smart and thoughtful way about philosophizing around her product. and around herself that I could really connect to. Most of the time when I hear sound bites or I hear things that are coming out of celebrities' mouths or even makeup artists' mouths around their own products, either really practical, like this is good because it doesn't wash you out, or it's highly marketed, this 100% essential oil is going to give you 10,000 different benefits and let me show you how. Like, it feels either overwrought or oversimplified. And yet when Kiki was talking about her stuff, and I'll try to link the video down below where she talks about her brand, I could just feel that she had so many different thoughts that were combining into this one conception of a brand. And then from there, she's also a makeup artist on very different skin tones and clientele that she's, you know, had the experience to be able to even develop something with research and development like this. So those two things combined really stuck out to me. And then of course the product itself, like I got this product in hand before I watched anything from her brand, and I was struck by how humorous she is and how just close to my own ethos she is. So let's actually dive into the product. I am gonna go down the line, that's how I built it here. Let's move into beige first, then it's the light medium contour and then the light medium bronzer. I lied, I was going to move it straight into my face, but I'm gonna give you a swatch first. This is the beige. This is the second from lightest, I think, and I wanted to show you next to the RMS Grand Dame highlighting powder. Love it because it's still super champagne-y. Yep, you can see how radiant this is. And then next to the RMS Beauty Master Radiance Base, which I think is also one of my holy grail products of 2020. This is so moussey and whipped. You can see that it picked up quite a lot, like a teardrop shape on my finger right here. So that's gonna go in the third row here. And this I've been putting all over my face, almost like a true base or a primer. Yep, so they're all really pretty. This one's still standing true as maybe the most reflective. I find it extremely natural. It just gives that nice finish. I don't think that it really goes away. It doesn't build up to a nice blinding highlight. If you're looking for that, I would go for either a lighter shade in Salt New York's. So I did buy the pearl shade just to see if I could use that more so as a highlighter. But right now I use this as a radiance booster. And I do start by putting it all along my cheekbone. I move it up into my brow space. Get it into my hairs as well as I groom them kind of upwards. Same on the other side. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's really there. It's true. It just makes my skin feel so good. I feel like it blurs. I don't find it necessarily enhancing any of my skin texture. God, I just love this stuff. I could douse myself in this stuff and feel like I'm ready. I'm ready for anything. Okay, so you can see that it is really radiant. It's not super glossy, but it has that like skin-like glow, and it's really reflective in the way that I want. It's not picking up too much. I don't look like I have a stripe anywhere. It's seamless, it's flawless. And what I love about this in particular, the way that I touch it and the way that I swatch it, it feels like a really dense pan, and I'm not slipping and sliding almost like in this mousse here, which is extremely whipped, and it feels like I can pick up too much or too little at a time. The Kiki G Salt New York feels way more controlled, and I can almost feel the pigments of the finely milled mica when I touch it. So it's almost like a dry feeling, not quite matte. It just feels a little bit dry in hand, which I love because I feel like I know how much I'm using. The others do feel a lot more slippy, a lot more creamy, and when you touch them, you're like, okay, I know that this is gonna spread farther. Whereas this, for some reason, that dry feeling gives me the confidence to know exactly where I'm patting it, and I don't feel like I'm gonna get super greasy from this. So as it's warmed up on my skin, I actually think not only has it warmed up, but it's also kind of melted in. It's actually not so sticky. It doesn't feel tacky. It feels like my skin is plump, but it's not wet. Telling you, there's some magic in here. So let's go in with this contour shade. I'm not even going to clean off my hands because that's just how I like to put this on normally, and I want to show you what I do normally. So I feel like I could time myself and do one of those 5-minute challenges with this palette very successfully. See how easy that came out? And it's so creamy. It is so creamy. I love touching and playing with these. And let's do this side here. Straight into the hairline and only moving upwards, almost into the cheekbone. Okay, magic. A little bit below my lip, a little bit on the sides of my nose, because this is one of those that I'm not even scared to go in with. You can see that I can pop it down on my nose itself and it won't even really show up like anything else that I've tried. It's just so slippy, silky, really creamy, and watercolory. I think that's a perfect way to describe these. I don't find that they move around much. Hopefully you can't really detect that shadow all that much, but it is helping me define my contours. So I feel like I can really rub this in almost like it's skincare, and I don't have to worry so much about it. Whew, that was so easy. I am going to go in with this bronzer shade next. I don't put it all over my face. I can for this video, but usually I just concentrate it on my cheeks as if it were just blush. So this picks up and it is a little yellow toned. It's quite biscuity. It does look a little bit reminiscent of this Madewell jumpsuit that I'm wearing today. And I'm just not afraid to go straight in and pick up a little bit of color right under my cheeks. So it's kind of like the apple on my cheeks, but I am moving it upwards. And that to me looks like the perfect bronzer kiss blush. I guess this is like reverse highlighting, in that, you know how so many influencers nowadays, they put the triangle of super bright concealer right down here and here. It's almost like I'm doing it, but opposite. I'm kind of veiling out that natural brightness that I have on my face and then concealing it with a little bit of darkness underneath. So I think it's a nice effect. It makes more sense to me to do it this way than to brighten everything else. I just look a little bit stark and scared when I do that. And so I'm really feeling good about this warmth. I can, like I said, go into the tops of my forehead, kind of where naturally I would get bronzed, into the hairline. Could bring it a little bit into the temples, just a little bit on the chin too. Okay, so I do think that this shade is a little bit too light for me. I want to go in with maybe a darker one, so I did purchase her medium bronze shade to see if that would give me a different effect, but right now it sits perfectly for my skin tone. It is so natural looking, and let's go in with the blush. I wanted to show you what this looked like on the back of my hand as well, because it just shears out, but it's there. It washes, but it's there. Continue to build that up. That's 3 layers, and my hand looks tan in this area. If I put a little bit of the peach shade on top, it'll mix that perfect tawny, peachy nude that I want for my skin tone. Oh, it's so good. Okay, let's do it. Let's do the peach. I'm gonna tap a little bit on just my middle finger, but I am gonna use 2 fingers to tap that out. I haven't tried it with powder products, but I will say I'm not scared to. I won't vouch for it without having done it myself, but I do think that these probably work okay. Just by themselves, they are great. They look so soft and skin-like, and I don't know about you, but I look blurred. I feel like I look blurred. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the pigment or the finish, but I look blurred and glowy at the same time. It's like that perfect glass skin thing. I didn't even need to use like a Glossier Future Dew. I didn't change up my skincare routine, and this lasts throughout the day. It doesn't get greasy, it doesn't fall off my face, and it does not lose its glow. Like, please tell me how this works. It feels like it's so natural when you look into the ingredients. You're like, okay, that's not too much. I can kind of get behind what this is, but then it just works so well. I am gonna move into a little bit of eyeshadow and finish up my face here, and then I will close out my finishing thoughts. So in front of me, and these did sit really well in this palette. I have two brow products, switched between the Anastasia Dip Brow in medium brown and then the PYT Brow Pencil and Spoolie in brown as well. So if we're going to push the boat out a little bit, which is my way of saying if we're going to look a little schmancy, I do like to use the brow pencil and give myself a way more defined look. But I like to have the option of having both. I am trying to normalize for myself not wearing brows every day, but it is the one thing that I think makes my look even better. It is that non-negotiable thing that makes my face even better. For some people, it's a bold lip. Some people, it's just putting a little bit of shine on their eyes, or mascara. That's a big one too. But for me, it's brows. If I put brows on, automatically and immediately feels so good and so polished. So maybe I'll go in with a little bit of brown gel too. But brows take a little while, especially to do well. Playing in this realm definitely makes me want to pull out these Westman Atelier pods. This is the Peau de Soleil Super Loaded Tinted Highlight, and I've raved about this but in the Peau de Pêche shade before. Answer to my bronzy dreams. It looks basically pure gold. It looks really warm and golden, and yet when I put it on my skin and I really blend it out, it gives me both highlight dreams and bronzer dreams. So I'll definitely show you that in a video, but I did buy one of Kiki G's gold shades. She has a highlighter in this formulation. That's gold. It's called gold. It looks gold. It looks a lot like this, the Westman Atelier. And then I also bought Kiki G's, or I should say Salt New York's bronze shade. That's a really deep bronze, almost cool toned bronze. And I want to see how that works for my eyeshadow. So trying to find replacements. I know it's not the best to buy products that are basically the same and do the same things, but are replacements of each other. But I do want to find a good system for myself. And unfortunately that does mean buying more products. I've learned, and I'm still learning, buying more things usually isn't the answer, but I'm really honing down and I feel like I'm on the cusp of something. I could be totally delusional and be in denial of such a discovery, but we've got to try. And I like supporting a woman-owned brand. I like supporting an indie brand, especially one that has such a great philosophy and such a great product. So I feel actually way more comfortable shopping from Salt New York than I do from Gucci Westman. Nothing against Gucci, it's just that showing this on my channel, I always feel like people can't access this. Most people can't and shouldn't want to afford this. There are way better things out there. However, now that I have them in hand, I really, really love her tinted highlights. So I am going to continue to use these up. They are kind of holy grails in my collection. And then this little bad boy, I didn't think that I'd like it, but this is what happens when you use your products and actually give it another chance and another chance, and everything else starts to change. And I've found, now that I've found my bronzy kind of peachy look, this Tobacco shade from the Leisure iPods, this is their middle range goldy peachy bronze. I'll put it on my eyes. So it's very, very dense. So I don't know how long it'll take me to get through this pot. It's like a hard gel almost. It doesn't feel like it's dried out. It just feels like it's meant to be that way. And now that I've found this starts to work really well with her Peau de Soleil. So I get why having one brand and using from only one brand, if they have like a strong color story, if they have more of a unique formula and not that many products within, it starts to all make sense. Do you see how that's peachy and really picking up the peach in my blush now? I think this is gorgeous next to this makeup. So I wish I could depot this. I don't know yet how, and it's in such a beautiful package I'm really scared to, but I wish this could live in the Kiki G Salt New York. Her name is just so fun to say. I wish that could sit in the Salt New York palette, but I am gonna put a little bit of this Peau de Soleil on my eyelids as well. Just bring up the bronze. Everything feels like it's in place. It's not over the top. Should I go in with a little bit of this too? Oof, why not? We're here. We're here. So just patting it up towards my eye, and now my eye and my cheeks are wearing the same colors basically. And Oh my lord. Lordy lord. Just completely dousing myself in Radiance. I feel like this is a great summer vibe. And then to the finale, I do have two Natasha Denona shadows in here. This one is from the Camel palette. It is her 5-row palette, the mini size, still $50 effing, but this one I think is called Copper Stone, and it does have that nice orange coppery fleck to it, but when it goes on my eyes, it looks kind of that chocolatey brown. And then this I've identified as from the BIPoC palette. I think it's called Rustic. These are the two that are basically perfect for my skin tone. It works really perfectly with these like 4 colors here, and this one starts to really deepen up and make my undone bronzy eye dreams come true. So let me put on top of these gel formulas and cream formulas that one rustic shade. I want this all to be a fun finger painting session. This is how I like to do my makeup. If I could just do it with my fingers every day, I would. Brushes are fun too, but since I don't use foundation, I find that going in with my fingers is usually faster. So that's with Rustic layered over all of the Depop and a little bit of the Westman Atelier Peau de Soleil. And then I do like to go in with this Copper Stone shade just to the lashes and make a true ombre. A little bit on the lower, but not too much. How do you feel? How do you feel after I've done all those colorful eyeshadow looks? I had so much fun doing those. I might revive that. Anyway, this is Salt New York. Even if you're not gonna buy anything, which I'm absolutely not telling you to go out and buy this, I think if it works for your lifestyle, if it works with your ethos, like check her out. But on YouTube, she's really funny too, so it's just worth a view. If you go into her website and click on the Radiance or the Cream Tint Pros, and you scroll down to the reviews, they are all raving, raving, raving. And I don't know if like someone goes in and deletes the ones that are like, I'm going to just be a cantankerous troll today. Because it seems like it. It seems like everybody who bothers to review is just stark raving mad for this palette and for the formulas within. I have not written a review, but if I were to, maybe this is my review. This is my love letter to Salt New York. I would rave about it too. I think this would have worked for me even when I was much younger, and I hope this will work for me when I'm much older. I'm thinking of doing a video called Makeup Predictions, what makeup I would buy if I were 16, but in 2020, like what would I actually gravitate towards, what I should probably have done if I were 16, but right now. Same with a makeup prediction of what I would buy if I were like 55, even 65 in 2020, and seeing what kind of makeup I would and should buy. So if you're interested in that kind of content, let me know. I'm just kind of ruminating about it and developing ideas around that. If it's interesting, maybe I'll do it anyway, we'll see. So thank you so much for watching this. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on my next video. Adios.
Please handle this side up. You got me upside down. Should only feel this much.